WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Julian Grace. Let's get right to that breaking news. We've confirmed McNeese coach Will Wade has signed a 6-year deal to take over as NC State's next head basketball coach. Let's bring in Megan Glova. She's in the WRAL Live Center with what we've been able to learn within the last hour. And Megan, this was expected, right?
Yeah, Julian, this is what we've been waiting for. A very exciting update here. And as you mentioned, it was confirmed by an AP source. We also have that story up now on WRAL.com. McNeese is the current head coach Wade is the current head coach at McNeese State. And it all comes about 2 weeks after the firing of Kevin Keatts. Again, a 6-year deal with the Wolfpack here, but for how much, that's unknown at this time.
Yes.
His current team made it to round 2 of the NCAA tournament and fell to Purdue today, but that did come 2 days after an upset of Clemson, which, got a lot of Wolfpack fans excited the past few days. Prior to his time at McNeese, he was actually fired at LSU in 2022 due to allegations of recruiting violations. Now let's jump back to the NCAA tournament today. He was actually asked about the job and he said, "I'll worry about it tomorrow," and look where we're at right now. This story right here. So Luis Fernandez will have much more coming up in sports, and we'll also share any updates throughout the night on WRAL.com.
I know the Wolfpack, they are excited. Well, we want to go to this headline right here. Dry weather and gusty winds are increasing the fire risk for parts of our area this evening. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at the current burn ban. Anthony.
Julian, those burn bans at the moment cover both North Carolina and South Carolina. Every single one of our counties until further notice. We have burn bans there for any open burning. It is not going to be a good idea to do that. In fact, we still have those fire weather warnings. Also, this is saying kind of just increasing that kind of awareness, if you will, where those shaded areas are. We have low humidity, we have gusty winds out there, and so that goes until 8 o'clock. But what I would say is through the rest of this weekend, at least, don't do any burning. We see those gusts up to about 22 miles an hour around the Triangle, 23 in Roxborough, close to 30-mile-an-hour gusts there in Fayetteville. You combine that with relative humidity values generally below 25%, and that is a recipe for a fire weather situation across the state. We will talk about, though, Julian, if we have any rain on the way to really help this out coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Anthony. We want to stay on fires and bring your attention to these screens right here. There are several fires burning across the state right now, with several large fires in western North Carolina. This is firefighters warn you to avoid burning altogether. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live at Fire Station 5 on Oberlin Drive in Raleigh. And Destiny, firefighters still don't want anyone burning anything right now.
That's right, Julian. And what's interesting about this is if you've been outside today, you know it is a beautiful day. It's warm, it's dry, there's a breeze. In fact, I had to switch out my mic so that you guys would be able to hear me clearly over that wind. But all of that, officials say, is a recipe to spark a fire. And that's why they have put out all of these restrictions and limitations on burning. I want you to take a look at your screen. This is the largest wildfire over in western North Carolina, over in Polk County. That fire has burned 1,000 acres of land, and right now it's not contained at all. And I also have been able to confirm that they have been doing mandatory evacuations in that area because of that. In Wilkes County, there's a mountainside fire off of the scenic and popular old Highway 16. County EMS officials say crews are being hampered by high winds and low humidity. This is close to that Ashe County line, though. Multiple agencies are battling those flames, including area fire departments and the North Carolina Forestry Service. And now people are being asked to avoid that area to let those firefighters work out those flames. In Burke County, the fires have shut down roads and destroyed at least one building, and 5 people are now displaced because of that. That fire is about 50% contained. Luckily, no one was hurt in that fire. Now, if you look at things locally here, again, we know that they have those restrictions in place also in the Triangle. Locally, you can see the smoke of a brush fire in Zebulon. The fire department reported that fire just before 10 a.m., but it is now out. Now, it's not clear what started these fires, but Grace Creek Fire Chief Logan Herndon says people need to avoid burning anything altogether.
Please don't burn. That's the biggest thing we can push. Be cognizant, no outside fires. Don't leave fires unattended. Just wait. I know a lot of people want to get out and burn and clean up. But the biggest thing we can push as a fire department is encourage people not to burn.
I also asked him at what point they would need to go over to help out those crews in Western North Carolina. And he tells me that if the crews in Western North Carolina do need help, then the state fires marshal will then request it. At this point, he tells me that they have not received any call just yet. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Again, definitely going to want to keep an eye out and not burn anything in this time because we are already seeing those impacts over in Western North Carolina. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
Great advice. Stay watchful and alert. Goldsboro police say 2 people are dead after a domestic dispute on Edgerton Street. It happened shortly before 11 o'clock last night. Now, police say 2 men were found shot to death at a home. The victims have been identified as 45-year-old Ron Dre Gooding and 42-year-old Antrell Carlton. A woman escaped the home uninjured and called 911. Multiple people were hurt while avoiding a high-speed driver near Wilson Mills in Johnston County. Now, this right here is video from our WRAL breaking news tracker just last night. Drivers at the scene tell us they had to swerve out of the way to avoid being hit by a pickup truck speeding away from police on US 70. The suspect and another driver were taken to the hospital. No word yet on their conditions. Search teams were back on the water today trying to locate a missing 7-year-old who disappeared in the Tar River earlier this week. You may recall this story. Crews have been looking for the boy since Monday, searching in the river and in the nearby wooded area as well. Teams have spent many hours diving under the water, moving rocks and trees as they try to find a body. The State Bureau of Investigations is involved in the search as well. Several law enforcement agencies teamed up over the last week, seizing more than $230,000 in cash, illegal drugs, and an illegal gun. Let's talk about the Halifax County Sheriff's Office. They say the operation on I-95 in Halifax and Northampton counties targeted drug trafficking organizations. The Halifax and Northampton County Sheriff's Office, along with the Roanoke Rapids Police Department, arrested 7 people, charged them with crimes related to illegal weapons and drugs. There was a funeral this afternoon in Selma for a 19-year-old woman police say was killed by a drunk driver on US 70 Business in Clayton. Genesis Amorato died Thursday of last week. People who saw the crash say a truck ran a stoplight and collided with Amorato's car as she pulled out of the parking lot. Police later arrested the truck driver, this man right here, Guadalupe Neves. Records show he was tested 3 hours after the crash and was still 2 times over the legal blood alcohol content limit. Listen up to this one. If you're trying to catch a flight this weekend, you want to pay very close attention to this and this map right here. Airport Boulevard at I-40 is completely shut down. You have to take a detour as NCDOT works on some major changes there. And as WRAL's Eric Miller tells us, drivers aren't the only ones being impacted.
For Rolando Ordonez, it's been a bumpy road.
Exactly, yeah.
The years of construction out front of his restaurant, Roots Grill and Bar.
We lost a lot of money.
Ordonez says things get busier or slower depending on the construction outside on this section of Airport Boulevard near the I-40 intersection. But this weekend, business and traffic has completely ground to a halt as NCDOT closed the Airport Boulevard Bridge over I-40 to put the finishing touches on this, a new diverging diamond interchange. NCDOT's Kim Diener says that short-term pain is a long-term gain for the area as a whole.
This diverging diamond interchange is a big deal for us here in the Triangle. This will be our 4th one.
Diener says these intersections both speed up the flow of traffic and reduce the total number of crashes.
Because they're going to be making their way to and from point A to point B faster and safer.
This change has been in the works for years, and when initially planned was expected to cost more than $34 million. The work this weekend represents a major step towards completing construction along Airport Boulevard, with the road set to reopen to drivers by Monday morning. But for his part, Rolando Ordonez just hopes that increased traffic on the road translates to increased traffic for his business.
Right now, you can see it's empty.
In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
We hope those customers come back. Well, I love talking about this. Basketball. NC State women's basketball team is on to the next round in the NCAA tournament. The Wolfpack crushed Vermont 75-55. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at Reynolds Coliseum, where that home game drew quite a crowd. Monica.
Yeah, Juliana did. It is a good day to be an NC State fan. A lot of the fans that I spoke with here at Reynolds Coliseum today tell me they are hoping for a repeat of last year with a deep run into the tournament, and this was a good start. Now, this game was close at times in the first half, but NC State really came alive in the later part of the game. Students here tell me being able to walk to this game here on campus made for an exciting atmosphere, and we saw a ton of families heading inside to cheer on the Wolfpack.
It's really cool for March Madness to be on campus. When we were coming up, we could feel the energy from really far away.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, we're excited. The opportunities that are available are fantastic, and the success that this brings to the program is just, it needs to have a good turnout, especially when it's being played in our own Coliseum.
Now, NC State is a 2 seed in this tournament. Their next game is Monday. Harvard and Michigan State are playing inside this building right now. The winner of that game will take on the Wolfpack. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Great to see the fans there. We have a little more than a week left to let Durham City leaders know how you want them to spend nearly $2.5 million. The city will take ideas for city projects from residents until March 31st. Projects must benefit the public and involve building or improving public spaces or infrastructure. Past winning projects include a youth center for LGBT teens, bus shelters, and park improvements. Any Durham resident 13 years and older can submit their ideas online. That means they want to hear from you, students. Preserving wild horse populations. Why the key to strengthening the Corolla horse herd may be in genetic testing. Plus, meeting women's needs. How a local organization is raising awareness about the hygiene products needs while supporting women, girls, and families in the Triangle.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Julian Grace. Well, in the early morning hours, 3 people were killed in 2 different accidents just miles and minutes apart. The first accident happened on Gorman Street between Kaplan Drive and Brent Road. The second on I-40 East near the Gorman Street exit. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is live on Gorman Street. Heidi, you've been working to learn more about both accidents. What are you finding out at this hour?
Well, and Julian, what's really shocking here is that those 2 accidents happened just less than 2 miles apart. We're here on Gorman Street. I'm going to step out of the way and show you exactly where that first accident happened. If you take a look over at that curb around 3:40 a.m. this morning, that is where this took place. Now go ahead and take a look at your screens. You're going to see some video that we shot from this scene. Now, Raleigh police say 23-year-old Pierre-Louis Demorge was traveling here on an e-scooter when he was hit from behind by a car that left that scene. Now, Demorge died at the scene. The other accident happened just minutes later when a car driven by 27-year-old Jonathan Perry Jr. went the wrong way on I-40 after coming from the Gorman Street exit, hitting another car head on. Now, Perry and the other driver, 37-year-old Elena Matthews, died at the scene. Now, we spoke with someone who heard the first accident.
And when I came out and the road was completely blocked, were around like 7 to 8 vehicles of cops standing just next to the accident, and there were like almost like 20 to 25 people standing around, and I mean the passage was completely blocked for the road. So
now, questions are circulating about whether these 2 accidents were connected. Raleigh police are still looking into that. We're pressing them for more details. Now, one thing that we do know is that wrong-way driver, Jonathan Perry, did have a smell of alcohol to him and also an open container in the car. Of course, we're going to continue looking into the people who lost their lives in both of these accidents. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
All right, let's go to this. Tonight, we're working to learn the condition of a person shot in broad daylight this morning on a busy Raleigh road. WRAL's Laura Levine was at the scene earlier gathering information.
Raleigh police spent several hours here at the scene of New Bern Avenue and North Rogers Lane collecting evidence and diverting traffic.
Walk up here and look, and there's police everywhere.
A sprawling crime scene spanning more than a mile across New Bern Avenue. A surprising sight to see this Sunday morning for James Moody, who was headed to work.
I was sitting over here drinking a cup of coffee. I heard like 3 gunshots, and next thing I know, I didn't hear no sirens or anything, but I went to go pull out and can't get anywhere.
Road closures on this typically bustling road and crime scene tape all over as investigators work to piece together what happened. Forensics took photos and focused much of their attention on this mobile detailing van that was left in a ditch.
It's kind of shocking. It really is. This is generally a pretty peaceful, quiet place, and to see this morning was kind of weird.
Raleigh police say they first responded to the shots fired call around 10:30 a.m. When they arrived, they found one person suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. While the circumstances around this shooting remain under investigation, those like Moody who live in the area say the senseless violence is getting out of control.
It's disturbing. It's happening everywhere. That's the point. It's happening everywhere. What do we do about it?
Raleigh police says no arrests have been made in this case. Anyone with any information is asked to give them a call. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
2 people are in the hospital after a serious crash on U.S. Highway 1 just outside of Pine Bluff. A breaking news tracker was on the scene where you can see 2 cars were involved. One of them so badly damaged it appears to be split in half. Investigators on the scene said one person had to be airlifted. We're still working to get updates on the conditions of the people involved, and we'll update you on air and online when we learn more. Crews were in the water for a 7th day trying to locate a missing 7-year-old boy who disappeared in the Tar River last Monday. I know you've been following this story. They've been using sonar scans and searched more areas of the water and land with drones and SBI cadaver dogs. Divers have now searched more than 11 miles from the point where the boy was last seen. A Wake County man is facing 10 charges of sexual exploitation of a minor. Has his first court appearance in Raleigh tomorrow afternoon. I'm talking about this man here. According to court documents, the charges against 43-year-old Jonathan Livesey date back to April of last year. It appears an operation from the state's computer crimes unit led to his arrest in Wake Forest. Livesey is currently being held on a $750,000 bond. After a beautiful weekend of warm and beautiful temperatures and sun, rain is on the way. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at what you can expect for the start of the work week. Anthony.
Julian, as we head into our Monday, we're likely to start off dry, so I don't expect any issues for the morning commute, but the rain itself should start to push in probably closer to about 10 a.m., maybe as early as 9 a.m. for our western counties. Otherwise, plan on temperatures there in the mid to upper 50s. We should see cloud cover filling in, and then we'll walk through this here on Futurecast with the timing. There's going to be our next weather maker, 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, we have some cloud cover, but we're still dry at that point. 8 o'clock, you see the rainfall back to our north and west. That starts to push through. It's a cold front that's going to head this direction. 11 o'clock in the morning, it starts to fill in. Even through the afternoon, we could still see some scattered areas of rain. Maybe a thunderstorm or two, mostly confined to our far southern counties tomorrow afternoon. We are not under any severe risk, which is good. And overall, it's going to be a relatively minor system, I would say. We're not looking at a lot of rainfall, maybe a tenth of an inch there just around the Raleigh area, up to about, let's say, 0.2 of an inch up into Virginia. We'll talk, though, Julian, about another system that could affect us into Tuesday night and some much warmer weather headed this way coming up in just a few minutes.
I like the sounds of that. Thanks, Anthony. Overnight, new evacuation orders were put in place as a trio of wildfires continue to torch parts of North Carolina right in the mountains. The Black Cove and Deep Woods fires have been burning in Polk County for days. Those are a couple of areas that were devastated by Helene back in September, which has made access even more difficult. The 2 fires have burned more than 2,300 acres and are 0% contained. A code red air quality alert is in effect for Polk County. There's an emergency shelter now for evacuees of the Polk County Senior Center in Columbus. The Duke Blue Devils advanced to the Sweet 16 after their win over the Baylor Bears in Raleigh. WRAL's Monica Casey joins us live from the Lenovo Center. And Monica, the atmosphere inside there was just simply electric.
Yeah, it really was. The Cameron Crazies brought their energy here to Lenovo today. You could probably hear some of those Let's Go Duke chants through your TV. This game was close at times early on, but Duke really started to pull away later in the game for a big win here today. We spoke with fans who traveled up from Charlotte and Davidson to be here, along with some who were excited to score tickets to an arena right in their backyard. Ahead of this matchup, fans were feeling good about the Blue Devils' chances.
I'm excited. I think we have a really good shot, so they just got to play well.
Yeah, I'm really confident. I know Baylor's got a good team, but I think Duke has this in the bag.
I don't want to jinx it, but same way, probably. I think it would be a real surprise, if anything, other than a win. But I guess it's the tourney. It could always happen.
No surprises here, though. I did ask those fans if they feel like this is Duke's year to win it all, and they are feeling confident. Duke's next game will be Thursday up in Newark. They're going to play the winner of Oregon and Arizona. That game coming up later tonight. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
There's so much excitement. Let it continue. The Duke women advanced to the Sweet 16, beating the Oregon Ducks 59-53 at Cameron Indoor Stadium. WRAL's Luis Fernandez has more on their win and what's ahead coming up in sports. Today, NC State officially announced that what we've already been reporting, that Will Wade will be the new Wolfpack head basketball coach. And NC State fans can meet him in just 2 days. Wade replaces Kevin Keats, who was fired earlier this month after 8 seasons in Raleigh. He will be formally introduced on Tuesday with photo opportunities with fans. Will begin at 3 p.m. at the Coach's Corner at the northwest corner of Reynolds Coliseum. In a news release today, Wade issued a statement reading in part, quote, "I am beyond excited and honored to be chosen to lead the Wolfpack basketball program. NC State's rich tradition, passionate fan base, and location in one of the best cities in the country make this a destination job, and I can't wait to get started." Part of NC State Athletic Director Boo Corrigan's statement in the same news release reads, quote, "Will told me that he believes that he can win at NC State and win big. It didn't take me too many conversations with him to believe it, too." And from NC State Chancellor Randy Woodson, Will is the perfect leader to guide the Pac basketball program to new heights. A lot of excitement right there. Teslas targeted. A Wake County man shares what he found etched into the side of his car amid similar attacks across the country. Plus,
we are the Postal Service. We are for service. It is in our name. It is our brand.
Protecting the Postal Service. Letter carriers rallied against the privatization of the USPS today. Their message for President Donald Trump and the Department of Government Efficiency. Here's a shot from our tower cam. Doesn't it look gorgeous out there? I hope you're able to get out there and enjoy the rest of the evening. Of course, after you finish watching us. Welcome back. An important statewide change could be coming after a WRAL investigation. A state lawmaker is presenting legislation to create stronger regulations on tattooing in our state. In a previous WRAL news story, we highlighted the 0 training hours required to be permitted to tattoo in North Carolina. State lawmaker Representative Julie Von Hafen saw that story after working with the Raleigh tattoo shop owner who sparked our initial investigation. Von Hafen drafted a bill to improve tattoo regulations.
So I think if we can get everyone on board with what we're trying to do, that will also raise the support for maybe future requirements.
Let's talk more about it tomorrow at 6 p.m. on WRAL News. Hear what first steps she's proposing to protect tattoo customers and artists. The National Association of Letter Carriers gathered today to rally in support of the U.S. Postal Service. They were pretty loud. President Donald Trump has suggested privatizing the Postal Service on several occasions. Today, postal workers gathered on New Bern Avenue to stand against dismantling the nearly 250-year-old public institution.
They just want to serve anybody that may make a profit for them. And we're saying that we deliver to every house, every day, no matter race, color, creed, no matter how much you make. That is what we stand for.
We're self-funded. We're not for profit.
So what we're doing is a service to the people. We're a service for the people, by the people.
The Board of Governors of the U.S. Postal Service has retained outside counsel and potential executive order that would target the USPS. Vandals continue to target Tesla vehicles. A Garner man named Jeremy says he discovered someone had etched the word Nazi on his car. It's believed these attacks are linked to Tesla founder Elon Musk's role in recent cuts to the federal government programs. This has fueled anger among some who are now targeting the vehicles. Jeremy says he purchased the vehicle long before any controversy surrounding Musk.
So this was definitely back in the time when Elon was just some guy tweeting about, rocket motors and fast cars, and wasn't problematic at that time. I didn't buy it because it was green or as a political statement or anything. I bought it just because I like the technology and, I like the convenience of waking up with a full battery every morning after it charges itself automatically overnight.
As of now, no arrests have been made in connection to the damages. Anthony, I'm looking at Pinehurst behind you. Where are you at? There you are. Yeah. I'm so jealous. I'm jealous of that right now.
It's such a nice evening, Julian. We've been treated to this beautiful weather the past couple days, and that's, like you said, our beautiful shot we have out there right now. I love watching this camera really any time of the year when those dedicated golfers are out there, but especially for this evening, just enjoying a light breeze. We have some comfortable temperatures and the sunshine really helping to warm things up. That will change, though, as we get into tomorrow. We'll talk about our next weather maker coming through in just a second. As far as highs today, though, we hit 72 out at RDU, 75 in Fayetteville, so definitely above where we should be in the mid 60s for this time of the year. We currently sit at 71 around the Triangle, 67 there in South Hill, 74 in Fayetteville. Right about 72 is the temperature in Southern Pines. We talk about, though, where we go tonight, so it should stay pretty comfortable. I would say most of us in the, let's say, low to mid 50s. It is dry, though. That's not the case for tomorrow. Let's talk about this next system coming in. It's going to be in the form of a cold front, and it's currently still well to our north and west, but you can see all of the moisture that's associated with it. It's a decently strong line coming through. There is some lightning there, but as it gets closer to us, it will lose some steam. We are not under a severe risk, and I don't anticipate really many thunderstorms. There could be a couple, but I think most of this is just going to be regular old rainfall. Let's walk through the timing. So again, tomorrow morning, the morning commute is fine. It's the later portions of the morning up until, let's say, 9 o'clock, probably at the earliest for our western counties, but closer to 10, 11 o'clock. This rain starts to get closer. It pushes through our viewing area and then really off and on through the day. We may see it thin out a little bit through the afternoon. You can kind of see the back edge of this. There likely will be some attempts, at least at a peak of sunshine or two for especially our northwestern counties the later on we go in the day. But before that happens, 90% chance there of some rain, maybe a few thunderstorms into the afternoon south of the Triangle. But again, no severe risk, just regular old rain and maybe a few thunderstorms. Our high temperature tomorrow with that rain with some increased cloud cover probably won't occur until about 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. We'll go for a high right about 66 degrees, so a little bit milder compared to today, but it won't be a huge drop off. 66 tomorrow, we go to 70 on Tuesday. We have a pretty warm week ahead, except for Thursday dipping down just a little bit. 74 on Friday. And then for next weekend, look at what happens. We get to 82 on Saturday, 80 degrees on Sunday. That is definitely a warmer pattern headed this way into next weekend. So that's something to look forward to if you want even warmer weather. We go to 66, though, tomorrow, 70 on Tuesday. Looking really nice, Julian, though, through the majority of this week. Just for tomorrow, we will need that umbrella handy.
All right, looks great. Thanks, Anthony. Let's go back out to the Lenovo Center, and Chris and Lewis, they're out there. Hey, guys.
Hey, we're trying to figure out a different word to use for Duke because we keep hearing dominant, but that's exactly what they keep doing, and now they're marching on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, a tight first half. We'll show you how the Blue Devils pulled away in the second. Hear from the players in the locker room when we return.
Well, NC State made it official. Will Wade will become the school's next head men's basketball coach. Wade will be joining NC State on a 6-year deal, and he will be formally introduced as the Pac's new coach on Tuesday at Reynolds Coliseum in a private event that begins at 1 o'clock.
We have a detailed look at the hire on WRAL.com, but Wade has plenty of experience in the postseason. A Clemson grad, he was an assistant on VCU's Final Four run years ago under Shaka Smart. He was the head coach at LSU for 5 years before being dismissed for recruiting violations. He got a second chance at McNeese for the past 2 seasons. He called his new role a destination job, Chris.
Well, welcome to sports. I'm Chris Lee alongside Luis Fernandez. The other big thing happening today, Duke playing right here in Raleigh for the NCAA tournament. I'm trying to figure out another word besides dominant to use for Duke, but it's exactly what they were, an 89-66 win over Baylor. Now they're marching on to the Sweet 16.
It was tight for a little bit in the first half, but Tyrese Proctor has been there, done that, and he looked like a man on a mission.
Absolutely. Let's talk about these highlights right here. Tyrese Proctor looking amazing, and let's check it out. As he's looking good right there, hits a three. He was 0 for 10 from three from the first two games of the ACC tournament. Since then, he is 19 of 30, and also Sion James getting in on the action with the dunk right here.
Tied at 24, Duke finished the first half on a 23-6 run. Proctor said after the game, Purdue grad transfer Mason Gillis rallied the troops. Everyone else sang Proctor's praises.
I think it was 3 minutes left in the first half. Mace was just talking about how we need to finish the half, and it can go one of two ways. We can go up by 20, or they can bring it back, and we can get under 5. They can get under 5. So I think it was just staying disciplined and trusting our defense was a big thing.
I mean, we need him hunting those, to be honest. And so if he's going to keep stepping up confident and just taking those shots, we're going to live all day long with those.
I mean, it's just the preparation that's gone into this. Like, it's incredible to see at the most important time of our season, and I'm happy that it's happening for him on the big stage, and we need some more of that as we keep going.
Sunday has been a great day for Duke all around because the Duke women's team had a matchup at Cameron Indoor Stadium with the familiar face on the other sideline. WRAL's Pat Welter has that report.
After going scoreless in the first half, Ashlyn Jackson hit a three to start the third quarter. She threw her hands up in the air as if to say, finally. She told me from that point forward, she knew she could impact the game. She finished with 14 points in the third quarter, 20 for the game, helping Duke make the Sweet 16 for the second straight year.
I credit my teammates and my coaches. You know, like going into halftime, I was really down on myself because I didn't see the ball go in. And obviously, like, that bothered me a little bit. But just their belief in me, you know, from my teammates, from my coaches, them just saying, like, if you're open, shoot that, or we want you to shoot those shots, like, gave me all the confidence that I need. And second half, the ball went in. I was happy.
Deja Kelly's career ironically ends in Cameron Indoor Stadium. I asked the former Tar Heel star what it was like to play here again, but in a different uniform. She said she knew it would be a challenge, but that all of her teammates had her back. She said it was actually a lot of fun. She just wished there was a different outcome. Pat Welter, WRAL Sports, Durham.
Back here at the Lenovo Center where somebody else's career came to an end, and that's Jeremy Roach. Spent 4 years here at Duke, went through the COVID year, went through the coaching change with John Shire, has been an important piece to Duke over the last few years, and now he's with Baylor, and his career ended by his own Blue Devils.
All the updates on those, Julian, on WRAL.com.
All right, thanks for joining us. NBC Nightly News is next. Join us here tonight at 11 for another half hour of local news. Have a great night.